Welcome to an all-new edition of Cocktails with Heather. I am Mike, that's Joe, that's Heather, and today we are going to be talking about long-distance relationships. I know that two of us have actually done that.
Yep.
I don't know about the third one.
You done that?
I don't really think so.
You don't really think so?
If you
Well,
cut
I think I was in a long distance relationship, or should I say they were in a long distance relationship, and I wrote letters and had phone calls with people and still dated others. Does that make sense?
you can't drive more than 45 minutes to Bone, then that's too far.
Yeah, it is. It is a little far. I know of other people that have had long distance relationships, both successful and unsuccessful.
I've driven 500 miles to get some ass.
So have I.
Oh, technically 1,000 miles because I had to drive all the way back fucking up too.
It's that better be good ass.
I thought it was at the time because I was smitten.
There you
I was. Whoopsh.
It's a long distance relationship. So we're thinking anything that's got to be okay, and let's carve out here just so we're clear. I'm assuming are not talking about if someone is in the military and they're deployed.
Correct.
We're talking about you met somebody online or you met somebody somewhere else and it turns out you guys live in different, or you're together, one person has to move for work or school or family or whatever, and
yeah, it's not I'll see you in an hour. More like I've got to make plans to be gone for a couple days, kind of distance.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Bone my girlfriend. That's why I said it.
I was about to bone my girlfriend out at the lake, but suddenly she yelled, so I looked up and it was Bigfoot.
So what happened next?
Then I went back to bone her, but the mosquitoes were going crazy and she said there was no way.
To bone her.
Bone my
I
girlfriend.
was going to bone my girlfriend. But then Sasquatch came.
Sounds like Elon Musk.
So long distance relationships, I guess, when I was in high school, I dated a guy that was in Sacramento, and I didn't have a driver's license.
Is that really a long-distance relationship, though?
It's just kind of dumb. It made for a really bad phone bill.
If you had to take a bus, then it's long distance.
I'm so old that I had to take... Your mama is so old.
Unicycle?
I had to take the telephone on the receiver.
I had to crank the engine on the front.
The long telephone cord and drag it into my room because there was one phone plugged into the wall in the living room.
Yeah.
On my Model A Ford.
You had to buy the cord. Did you buy the cord from Radio Shack when they were still relevant?
I could only talk after I was done churning the butter for the week.
Hitching up the buggy, churning lots of butter.
That's I had that. I don't think I really had anything that was kind of out of state necessarily. I had a guy who moved and got back in touch with him. I think it was directly after high school, and he was Mormon and on a mission. And
Yeah, he was.
yeah, he was.
Was he on the Rumspringa?
He was not on the Rumspringa. I guess kind of. I don't think he adhered to a lot of the good Mormon boy
Values.
during his mission, but that's another story entirely.
He didn't want multiple wives. He just wanted multiple ass.
Yeah,
kind of a weird way
I
to
think
say
he
that.
indulged in that. I don't think you're supposed to get tattoos during your Mormon mission, but I think that happened with him. So that was different because I didn't actually get to see him in between. So we just wrote some letters and some phone calls, and then I pressed on because I didn't want to wait a year because that was forever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what if the tattoos were the magical discs?
Were the what?
The magic discs.
Then that's a
and
problem.
John
then.
Smith.
It could have been. I don't know. I don't even actually know. The only thing I do know is that he told me once, and I never have seen it, so it could be just a bold-faced ass lie, is that the one time we did hook up in high school, I scratched his back, and I guess he has that kind of sensitive skin where it just, scars or something, and so we had these, scratches on his back or something like that, and he said he got a tattoo with, tiger's claw or something like that with the scratches.
I think
Mama,
he's
memorialize it.
bullshitting
Mama,
you.
it was
Yeah.
the devil. The devil
you never
attacked
know.
me in the middle of the night.
This guy also used to say pieces of my hair at one time, so it's possible.
It's okay. Gimli did it in
It's
Lord of the
possible.
Rings. He saved hair, and it was perfectly fine then.
That's weird. Yeah, Gimli's weird. Silver strand of hair. So, and I was the devil because I wasn't obviously Mormon, and his family wanted him to be a good Mormon boy. And now he is. He's married to a good Mormon gal, and they have a lot little Mormon children.
That's just labeled Mormon. Everything's Mormon.
She doesn't wear tank tops unless she's got a T-shirt underneath them.
They have Mormon dinner and watch Mormon programs.
Yeah, they do. They totally do. I think they even got sealed at temple. So I mean, like they got their shit together. Mormon. If you're a Mormon, they got their shit together.
Vicky Valancourt.
You can't wear a tank top though because you got the whole like, what do they call undergarments? You got to wear your garments. You got to wear your garments. So, yeah, that's pretty much how much for me. And then a lot for me is just more so that I require so much attention that long distance relationships don't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't even like it like when somebody is doing something else and I don't hear from them when we're dating. Like that's not okay. So somebody who's living a couple of states away or a few hours away just doesn't tend to work out.
Not even like a Southwest flight, like, hey, hurry up.
No, I mean,
let's go and bone.
I mean, it depends. I mean, then you have to like schedule vacation and shit like that. I don't see it. I'm sure it's sustainable for some people.
You can rent a motorhome and meet them in the airport
I was about to bone my girlfriend out at the lake.
Yeah, exactly. Bone my girlfriend out at the lake.
Bone.
I had a guy. I have a guy that I know, and he was talking about told me once about his long distance relationship, and he was living in Hawaii at the time, and he's originally from California. He's living in Hawaii, and he had a girl that he met. I just envision him in my head, and I don't know if this is what it was, but I just envision him as the guy. What was it? 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
I know you don't watch it because it's Adam Sandler, but it's
that was when it was still funny.
Yeah, 50 First Dates, and he basically
no, that's pretty much when I gave up.
met people that were on vacation and like pretended he did other stuff. I just envision this being this guy, and I think he met somebody that was on vacation there. I'm not sure how
and
he
they
met
were doing
her.
the same thing. Just pretending to be someone who they weren't.
Flamingo Kid.
I don't know. Well, here's the story I got from him, and again, this could. But I feel like this is pretty honest the way this shit went down. And this chick, I seen pictures of her at one time, and she was pretty hot. And was I don't know what she looks like now. She looked like she could have gained as much weight as me. Fuck, I don't know. And
was she Tongan?
What?
Tongan or Samoan?
No. She's from California.
Oh,
so they were in this long distance relationship.
Did you
in
say
California.
Tongan?
Yeah. You never heard of Tongan?
There's Samoans
are part of Tonga.
They're
Tonganoian.
What do you call it? The enemies of Samoans.
Yes,
or something like that.
I know. I just know they get fucking big.
I couldn't remember for the life of me because I know Samoans.
Yeah,
and they have.
I know a few Owens too.
I know Samoans.
So he was seeing this gal, and they stayed, long distance relationship, back and forth, seeing each other, talking all the time, whatever. Her in California, him in Hawaii, and I guess one day she calls him up and says that she's done with him and he's a piece of shit. And when he first started telling me about it, I was like, oh man, that sounds terrible. And he's like, so that's why I moved back to California, because I was like, I'm going to move back out here. I'm going to try to make it right with her, and she won't see me and she won't talk to me. But he ended up moving back to California, and there he stays. But finally I got out of him, and I was like, well, what'd you do to make like such an issue? Well, I guess one of her friends told her that she found me on Tinder or like a dating website. I don't know if it was Tinder. It was an online dating app website. Yeah. And I was like,
Yahoo
well, that's
dating.
weird. Was that one of your old profiles that you didn't like delete? And he goes, well, no, not until I go, God damn it. Were you on the fucking dating site? He goes, I got bored. And I was like, no, you don't get to go back and beg for that if you got busted doing that.
Yeah.
That's not okay. That's like, I understand
You
now.
got caught.
You got busted. Like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. How do I come back from this? I don't think you can, homie. You're going to have to pray that you have the magic dick or something. I guess he didn't, because I don't think they ever got back together. So
yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, she was done.
Yeah. So that's like, I mean, if you're states away, people get bored, or how do you know? How do you know what they're doing? And
the trust shit, dude. Oh my God. My future ex-wife, when I was dating her, she lived in Pomona, which is, if anyone knows, you drive all the way down to LA, then you got to go another 40, 45 miles to the east. Yeah. Yeah. So it's, when we first hooked up, she would take a bus and stay for 2-3 weeks at a time in Sacramento with me. But then she joined one of those shitty colleges, where you like either medical receptionist or insurance billing or some shit. Mm-hmm. And so
John Hancock College,
something like that. Yeah, it really was something like that.
Reception.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she couldn't come up anymore. So I had to drive all the way down to bone my girlfriend, and
Probably just another drill. You know that last drill we had? I was about to finally bone my girlfriend, and then we heard that there was this drill, and she told me there was no way.
So, driving down to Pomona, I started doing it. First, I started doing it once a month, then I started doing it twice a month. Then there was a few times where I did it 3 times a month, and on my weekends off. And I did it so much that I started phasing out when I was driving. I would go like 2-3 hour blocks without even remembering anything, and then I'd come to and I was like, holy shit, I mean, I drove perfectly fine. I didn't get in any accidents or anything like that, but it just. Yeah, I hate the Grapevine. I don't ever want to ever go anywhere near the Grapevine ever again for the rest of my life. I hate the Tejon Pass, or however the fuck you want to pronounce it. And I hate all that shit. I absolutely hate the Grapevine. Yeah. I cannot stand it. No, it's not good. And I wish that Elon Musk would use his boring company and fucking drill a tunnel all the way through the bottom of it so that human beings don't have to suffer it anymore. Because I fucking hate the Grapevine. So
how long has it been since you've been that way?
2005, I believe, when we went to Disneyland.
You've harbored this hate for the fucking Grapevine for 13 years.
Actually, longer than that, because I hated it in 2005, but I also hated it in 1999 when I was doing it.
Yes.
So, it sucked. It sucked the proverbial ass. So
no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'll tell you what, though, man. That's how fucking pussy whipped I was, man. Is that I had no problem driving that far down, and just to be with her after all, not even noticing all the white trash bullshit and the fact she's hanging out with tweakers and all that shit. I was so blind. Oh my god. Oh man, there was one time at band camp where I was about halfway down. I was taking
taking a shit.
I actually no, my truck or something was. I think it was after I lost my truck, and after I totaled it, and so I took a bus down.
That must have been a fun ride.
Oh god, fucking nasty people. But I remember we stopped at like Kalinga because Kalinga's like exactly halfway down, there, and I remember calling her.
See, there's that snap again.
And I know I noticed it too. And she was hanging out at some dude's house, because they've been friends for a long time, and it was nighttime. It was late at night, and I'm like, why the fuck are you over at this dude's house? And
the nighttime is the right time.
And because she, I found out later she was tweaking with him, which means she was probably also boning, and all that shit. But I remember that fucked with me. There was a part of me that I almost took a bus back from Kalinga, and I should have. But whatever. I think she was probably...
that last drill we had? I was about to finally bone my girlfriend, and then we heard that there was this drill, and she told me there was no way.
That's exactly.
So, I don't miss any of that shit. I don't. I mean, I had some good times down there, but overall, I don't ever want to revisit it. I don't ever, like if you ever on your deathbed and you just relive your entire life, I don't need to relive any of that shit. I really don't.
I'm good.
Yeah. Proposing on Huntington Beach at 1:00 in the morning, which was beautiful. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to experience getting a BJ while I'm driving my Daewoo rental car. While her friend is blowing her boyfriend in the backseat as well while I'm driving. And
we talked about the Daewoo before.
Yeah,
this is ringing a bell.
Yeah, we were boning at a train station at 3 a.m. and
in a Daewoo.
And it was a Claremont. There's two of them. There's Montclair. And
Good evening. I'm Tom Tucker.
And I'm Diane Simmons. Authorities are on the lookout for 1-year-old Stewie Griffin, a quahog infant who is believed to be possessed by Satan. A substantial reward is being offered for any information leading to his capture.
Is there a fucking plane going overhead?
The fucking air conditioner right next to their TV.
God damn, that was painful.
Sorry.
That was almost as bad as my marriage.
I may have to fix that.
Do some editing now.
Yeah. I don't even know where the fuck I was going with that shit, man. But all that long distance shit.
We were talking about the Daewoo.
we were in. There's a Claremont and a Montclair. I believe Claremont is the more richer area of Pomona, near Pomona, where they have the mall.
And the rich area near the mall.
Yeah. So And there was a train station. We were picking up her tweaker aunt and cousin from there, and so
it's
we were,
just a whole crew of tweakers.
Yeah, yeah. And we were just sitting. At the time I didn't know. Like I said, I was an idiot, and we were bored, nothing to do. So we just I pushed all the two front seats forward. We got in the back seat and we started boning, and we steamed up the fucking windows like crazy. That was fun.
News, a local man
God damn it.
You've got bad links. Mike's trying to add like
this one's okay.
snippets of things.
Because
In other pseudoscientific news, a local man claims to have spotted Bigfoot. We've got the exclusive interview.
I was about to bone my girlfriend out.
there we go.
See, there it is.
I was about to bone my girlfriend out at the lake.
Okay, you're just gonna have to cut it so bone my girlfriend is there. But my husband actually ended up with a kid from a long distance relationship. So there's that.
Technically, I did as well.
Well, there you go. See, Joe got one too.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah,
Everybody gets a kid. You get a kid. You get a kid.
I believe
Everybody
my
gets a kid.
daughter was probably conceived when we were boning in the back of my Mazda pickup at the drive-in. We were watching Never Been
I
Kissed.
was about to bone my girlfriend.
We were watching Never Been Kissed and Go
That sounds
at
amazing.
the drive-in. Yeah,
Never been fucked.
Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. That's the only time I've ever seen that movie too, was at the drive-in, and I've never gone back. It's been almost 20 fucking years, so I guess that movie didn't make that much of an impression.
Well, I think technically
Apparently
he
it
knocked her up.
did.
He knocked her up after we moved back out to California, but they, I think, saw each other for a few months. He was in Indiana and she was out here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not want a long distance relationship, so it was either like move out or GTFO.
Yeah,
So,
So that's why he moved back.
well, that and he had a kid out here too.
Right.
He already had a kid out here. So the plan was to move back out here anyways. This made it convenient.
yeah.
He could stay there. He could live there. So he had a place to live too.
I mean, Indiana's pretty
I think-
expensive to live in.
I think that if
Yeah, it's totally very expensive to live in.
long distance relationships, like I wouldn't recommend them for people unless they have a means to. If they needed to, they could get to that person within a few hours. If it was something important that was coming up, and they could get on a plane and get to them, quickly if they needed to. Otherwise, I don't.
I just think it's a different person. I mean, like, I have a friend that doesn't get jealous about anything.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that, probably doesn't mind that. I don't mind spending time alone. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. Well, distance, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I disagree. I disagree
I
with
think
that.
it's
It makes it grow bitter sometimes.
I think that people should spend a little bit of time apart away from each other so they're not constantly in each other's faces.
Yeah, I need more of the...
Depends on the person.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I like my alone time. I'm, like, pretty independent with all that, but I just need to be able to have a handle on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be telling me anything. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what's happening. I don't get to see you.
Yeah.
You can't go out on a date.
Just want to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that makes
it's,
that-
in my personal opinion, it just doesn't work for me. But I know that there are other people that have no issue with it.
Hey, look! If I was a pilot,
that's the
if I was a
people that-
quagmire, hey, a different port, and then
Maybe the people that enjoy, tweaking out with their tweaker drug dealers, like they're okay with a long distance relationship because they already have something.
because
keeping
they'll
them
always
going
have
there.
someone else to bone.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Michael?
I was about to bone my girlfriend out at the lake.
I've had 2 long distance relationships. One of them ended in a marriage.
Okay.
The first one, it was okay. It got to the point where I didn't want to be in that relationship any longer. And
Was it the long distance that was the problem, or?
No, because she moved here.
Okay.
I was out. I was done.
She dropped everything for you, and you
Yeah,
just
well,
You shit on her dreams.
I
abandoned
did.
her.
Well, she's married now.
Yeah, you forced her into a loveless marriage with somebody else.
I forced her into it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Forced her.
You
We just
fucking
made this episode of Dallas.
cold-hearted
Yes.
bastard.
And then the other one, we were married and got divorced.
Yeah.
But well, you weren't like married in long distance though.
Yeah,
I mean,
at one point we were.
Were you?
Because I had
Prison.
Dad got sick,
oh yeah.
and then I came home because I knew that there was something wrong, and there was, and that was a shitty year. But part of it was I couldn't handle living in LA anymore. LA is toxic. It's depressing.
Yeah.
And I needed to get the fuck out of there.
Kind of fake.
Kinda.
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be a little glossy.
I've got some good friends there, but other than that, there's nothing in LA save for, my wife and her family and my friends that were there. And even then, I had to get out. I absolutely had to get out. And I think that caused a major problem in our marriage.
So Randy Newman is full of shit.
No, he loves LA. LA is a great place if you have money.
Yeah.
Other than that, not so great.
Shit show.
Yeah.
So how long did you last in a long distance relationship before you guys lived together and were in the same location?
A year and a half.
That's pretty.
But I was
decent.
I was going to school and stuff like that. So then she would come up or I would go down there. So we tried to kind of work out our seeing time, I guess, because basically Hollywood shuts down around December 20th for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So she would take a week off and she would come up here to go skiing or whatever else, and I would just hook up with her here, or I would go down there to go see her once I think it was like once or twice a month. Once a month at least. So it was a horrendous drive.
Yeah, it's a horrible drive.
So
my biological family, they do not travel, but they don't fly.
Right.
They have a fear of flying. So the first time I ever flew was, I think I was 24. I think I was 24 years old the first time I flew in a commercial airplane.
Right.
And I flew to Southern California to go to a certification program. And after I landed, I said, why the fuck does anybody drive down here when they could get on a fucking plane and be here in like an hour?
because it's too expensive.
But goddamn.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Other than that, it's easy. Except for flying into San Diego. Flying into San Diego
I'm still fine with that.
is the fucking worst because you have to fly in between buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a crosswind, which happened with me and Dad, if there's a crosswind, they're going to attempt to land. Now I'm really surprised that we haven't,
Sounds like a Top Gun moment.
I'm severely surprised that we haven't had planes crash into buildings in San Diego. Now, if it's too fogged in or whatever, they go right on to, Vegas, I think, depending on the plane. And, Vegas at 9 o'clock in the morning is still hotter than hell than any other part of the planet.
Yeah.
It's awful.
The devil actually waves at you as you come in.
Yes, he does.
Right before you hit the turbulence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just
harder.
Yeah, I get to fly into San Diego again in April. But I think I don't actually notice that as much during the landing part. Maybe I just haven't had window seats enough into San Diego. But what gets me is the takeoff from Orange County, because you got to go straight up in the air.
Yep.
And then they kick off the engines, and it feels like you're going to fall out of the sky.
Yeah. The worst plane ride I'd ever been on was a flight from Santa Rosa to San Francisco to catch another flight. So you have to take a turboprop.
What was that, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Fuck.
You're like, and we're up, and we're down.
Yeah. So, but
You get no peanut.
It was actually just a hot air balloon.
the way where Santa Rosa is, when you get on the plane, depending on the time of year, even then, this is like May or June. There was such severe turbulence, I thought we were going to fucking crash. The plane was just bouncing up and down. We lost. I was watching the dials, and I watched the plane. You feel the plane drop.
Yeah.
We dropped 5,000 feet in one shot, and we weren't that high up. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I would have used the air sick bag.
And then I'm watching, and the pilot turns and looks at me, and I went. I gave him the thumbs up, and he fucking closes the door on me.
Here we go.
You should have broed him.
This is way before Berlin.
I know. Yeah, the first time I experienced some major turbulence, I didn't know. I freaked out for a second, and then what I did was I looked around at everybody, and I noticed that no one else was freaking out. So I was like, "Oh, well, this must be fucking normal," because there was no oxygen mask down or anything. So I'm like, "This, yeah, I guess this shit just happens." Because I've only been on a couple flights in my life.
Yeah, my biggest problem with flying is the takeoff, the initial takeoff.
Oh man, because of the angle, the fucking.
No. No, it's the turn. Because planes literally aren't supposed to be flying.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about it that they
It's against God.
No, it's physics.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of problems with the whole physics thing. I mean, they've got it down to a science. But like when they turn, if you turn a plane too sharp,
Yeah.
it'll fall out of the sky. It'll literally fall out of the fucking sky. If you've ever done a virtual plane simulator,
Yeah.
like I used to play Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe and whatnot. So and they have real physics going on with that stuff, or at least as close to real physics as possible.
Yeah.
So if you're flying a fighter plane or whatever else, and you stall out, you can kind of, if you adjust your plane, you can kind of glide and try to get it started again.
Yeah.
But like if you get up to a certain angle, there is no wind resistance for the wings, even though you have that back tail wing.
Yeah.
And the plane will just literally drop. And in the flight simulators, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you're just flying along, and all of a sudden you just see nothing, and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And you died. And if you watch the real flight simulator stuff,
Yeah.
where they have the jets and whatever else, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you see them do that, and the fucking plane goes in, it's awful. It's fucking horrendous, and that's my biggest fear. Well, it's one of my biggest fears. I can't say it's my biggest
Taking
fear.
off and they
It's
turn
my biggest
the plane
fear
too
when I'm
far.
a fucking plane, and they get up so high that they turn the plane at a severe angle, and you're like, oh my god, like what are we fucking doing?
Yeah, your life is in their hands, man. There's not a goddamn thing you can do.
And that's a control freak problem.
That's the power. You feel extremely powerless. It's like, you know what? Just to fucking placate people, everyone should have their own fucking their own parachute built into the seat or something.
You're never going to get out of that plane.
I know, but it's just to placate people.
That doesn't placate anybody. You can't get out of the plane.
Okay,
If that fucking 747 comes barreling down at a mountain, your chances of jumping
the
out of that, you're never jumping out of that plane because you're going to hit something.
Yeah.
And by hitting something, I mean like a wing
Yeah.
or the fuselage, anything.
Yeah. Or you
Fuselage.
get sucked into the engine.
No, because I believe that the doors are above the engine. So you step out onto the wing and then you get tossed back and you're either going to get fucking, cut in half or
Yeah.
hit a bird, whatever.
Yeah. Pretty much you're fucked.
Yeah. What they should do is have an emergency escape route out the back so you could just, they can pop it open and you jump out the back.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But they don't have that.
Just turn your chair into a slide and you just slide right out of the bottom of the plane.
Yeah.
Like you're flushed.
Yeah. Like the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
Where he presses the button and fucking number 2 goes shooting down and you see flames come out.
Yeah.
Same difference. My brother was severely afraid of planes.
Was he?
Yeah. And this started when he was young because my family friend, he would fly. And so I got to fly his plane. When you want terrifying, hand the reins of a plane to a 9-year-old who doesn't understand their own strength.
Yeah. Don't jerk the fucking controls, please.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, be careful, now take a right. So I did that, and the fucking plane does that. And he's like, ease back on that there, cowboy. So, and my brother was just screaming bloody murder until we flew over Disneyland.
So you B.A. Baracus him.
Pretty much. It wasn't my, no, he was already afraid. He didn't want to be on the plane at all. That my dad B.A. Baracus him.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
You pancake my van. Yeah. I'm going to kill you, fool.
You were parked in a handicap spot.
God damn it.
But yeah, he did not like flying. And then in order to get out to California, we had to put him on a plane. So him and my mom flew on a plane.
You had to put like a muscle relaxer in his banana?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just lying there like, hey, man, how's it going?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know why I ever had a problem with flying. This is
some fucking great shit.
This is amazing. I want to fly all the time.
I'm flying more ways than one.
What's the fucking movie? What's the movie?
There's a great movie. There was no in-flight movie. We were flying
Airplane. It was probably Airplane.
I wish I was boning my girlfriend right about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do
I don't know how you guys do that. So, like, I mean, do we have somebody
interview.
that like?
I was about to bone my girlfriend out at the lake, but suddenly she yelled, so I looked up and it was Bigfoot.
He just paused on the news guy, just with his mouth agape.
Agape. What were you gonna say?
So what brought on the long distance relationship thing? Do we know somebody that's in a long distance relationship? Or
No,
is that
I just
a
wanted
concern?
to. I wanted to bring it up because
I don't think they're plausible.
I
Unless you have money.
not plausible
If you got a ton of money.
Fake news.
and spam.
I don't want to say that long distance relationships
Fake
are aliens,
news.
but aliens. That's
Fake news and spam.
Yes, that's all of those things.
No, I mean I think they're plausible, but you have to commit. If you don't commit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah. When I've heard about the dude that was with a chick that lived all the way in England, and he lives in the States, like what the fuck are you doing? Right?
Yeah, how does that work?
They like fly out to meet each other like
Meet each
twice
other
a year.
halfway?
Like yeah.
Ooh, so funny. They yeah, that twice a year, I don't think that's, I mean, so again, like if you're with somebody and you are committed and they're like deployed into the military,
Yeah.
or they have to go for work for some reason to England for 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
To me, that's completely different.
Yeah.
that's not a long distance relationship.
That's a relationship, and
That's
you just
temporary. That's a temporary thing.
you
yeah.
unfortunately have to
Well,
be
long
separated
distance
at that
relationship
moment.
is a temporary thing. in
Supposedly.
general. Yeah, you
I
hope.
mean, well, you're all gonna die, so
Life is
I mean,
temporary.
Life is temporary.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as you're committed and you have a plan and you know what you want to do, either or, she move here or you move there or whatever.
What the goal is, the end goal.
Yeah, what is the ultimate end goal for this? Are you guys going to continue with your relationship, or is this just a, two ships passing in the night type of thing?
And I would also think for somebody that has a long distance relationship, I think a key component to it is going to be surprise visits. I think that's
Oh yeah.
a healthy and important
That's
way.
me.
That-
That's the
conduct
romantic
that.
part of me.
That's a no.
Nope,
You
keeping
can't
them on their toes.
You can't have surprise visits because you don't know, and I'm not talking about the cheating thing. You don't know if they're going to be home at that point in time, or what if you don't know where they work?
You should, but if you're in a kind of like a long distance relationship, don't you know where that person works? You
Not
know, like,
necessarily.
they would still check in and be like, "Hey, headed home from work."
You may
or-
know the name of the business, but you don't know where. Like, I work for whatever.
I guess I just look at it as like not long distance relationship where we're dating and you're far away. Like long distance relationship, like we're together.
Yeah.
And we're just in different cities. Even then, like you should know where that fucking person works, and like they should be texting you like, "Oh, done with work. I'm gonna go out with the girls now," and then like, "Oh, good night. I'll see you later.
and
I'm going to bed."
That's
like,
what I had
dope.
type of thing.
Yeah,
Don't-
I ended up cheating during my long distance relationship. I forgot about that.
You did? Mm-hmm. Jerk.
God, you're an asshole.
How dare you, sir?
How
But
dare
that's also the risk that happens. But I'm not talking about cheating. What I'm talking about is if you do a surprise visit, like you could say, "Hey, I'm coming down." But never give a time or a specific date. Like I'm thinking about coming down, then you show up. No, if you know that they're going to be home at this point in time, because the worst part is showing up and then having to wait, and that just blows the surprise. Like
No,
you show
I-
up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and they work until 10 o'clock at night. Like,
Well, yeah,
that's fucking
but I
stupid.
mean, if you work till 10 o'clock at night and they don't get home till 1 and they haven't contacted you, then when they show up at the door and you're there,
yeah. Well, they could have gone out with the guys or whatever. I don't know.
so you're
I mean,
dating dudes.
Not necessarily. No. I mean,
Oh,
they could have been out
Oh.
with friends.
See, I'm more in the keeping them on their toes type thing. Never know when I'm going to pop up.
See, I couldn't do a long relationship now, a long distance one, because I got all of the talking on the phone for 3-4 hours thing done when I was in my early 20s, and I don't like talking on the phone long anymore.
I've never
fucking hate
liked
it.
talking on the phone.
I fucking hate it now.
So-
I hate talking on the phone.
That's why you hate talking on the phone. Maybe I should record some of our goddamn conversations.
Oh yeah, I mean, look,
Well,
there's,
it's different kind of when you know somebody. But
there, yeah, I
even
mean,
then,
look,
don't
there's
like
there's
it.
just parts.
No,
of me
it's
that,
just me going, and
Yeah.
then Joe's like, "Oh, and this and this and this."
I just
like,
had-
all right,
yeah,
so I'll
cool,
talk to you
okay.
later, and
Yeah.
then he goes on to another thing.
I know. Then I keep switching ears, and I'm like, God, why was I on the fucking phone for so long? But yeah. I mean, for the most part, I hate talking on the phone for long periods of time. I just let's get the information out, maybe talk for 10 fucking minutes, and then be done. But
45 minutes later.
yeah,
My friend Aubrey and I always say we need 3 days notice to prepare ourselves for a phone conversation.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to need like 3 business days. I need 3 business days notice so that I can prepare myself mentally.
Just give it in writing with a notary so we know.
Can't I? Can't, like, and it's so funny because I know some people just do so much better on the phone, but like my husband will call me 3 times in a row about something silly. Like we'll be having a conversation and then we'll hang up, and then like 5 minutes later he calls me and to tell me something tiny, and then like, okay, cool, and then I hang up, and then he calls me again, and then like I know I sound less patient because I'm trying to go back into what I was doing like at work or whatever else, and I'm just like, what? Like by the last one, and then every time, then I hang up and I'm like, that could have been a text. Like, this could have easily been a text.
I was just going to say, why didn't you just fucking text me?
One sentence you needed to tell me as a follow-up could have been a text. And, like, I've told him that before, and he'll be like, oh, well, I was driving. So, like, voice to text. Hold up the phone. Talk into it.
I hate my voice text on my phone. It always gets words wrong. And then I almost fucking wreck trying to fix the word. So I hate it. I absolutely
So you should just wait and text later.
Well, I end up having to pull over, wait till I'm at a stop sign or something.
But still text. Use the text.
Yeah.
You can Facebook message me. You can message me on Instagram. I sometimes check those. Snapchat, I don't get any notifications. I don't go on there. Don't message me there.
Just text.
If I remember to,
I have several emails.
There's the voice texting thing where it actually just records your voice message instead of like typing, the words like, "Did you say this?" And no, I didn't.
And that's fine too. Just some people have to know that, like,
no, that's voicemail. Done.
Much,
yeah.
Just fucking
shorter.
text.
Just depends on how long they take to talk.
Well, I'm just saying if I'm in the middle of driving, I can just hit that quick thing and then boom, I'm done. Send. I don't have to worry about typing.
Even then,
I don't even look at my phone when I'm driving.
Even then, it's like
in a pocket. Or
I can't listen to the message if I'm in a meeting, or sometimes if I'm in my office, or other times like I have to wait until I can actually listen to it, which is part of the problem when I can't talk on the phone.
I got the dash mount, so I got it right here, and on the side of my view in front of my radio. So, but still, the texting, I don't like doing it when I'm driving. If it's just one word, fine, because I can do that quickly, and I can look away, do one letter, look away, do one letter, but.
I can't.
But then still, because the buttons are so fucking small, I end up hitting the wrong goddamn letter anyway, and then I get pissed off, and then I'm going to end up killing someone on the road.
So why don't you just put your phone away?
This is why now in my old age I could never be in a long distance relationship, because I do not want to talk on the phone.
I could do it because of the technology, because you could FaceTime.
Now you can do all that. Oh, by the way, and FaceTime also is balls. Like, I'm sure I could do it, like, a person if I needed to, like,
right.
Necessarily, but people, like, just want to FaceTime because they just want to see you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the handle on this whole Marco Polo app. I don't know, have you...
No, I've never
why are you laughing at me? Because it sounds like the old person. Have you heard of this? And it's probably been around for, like, 10 years.
No, the conversation that we had a couple of days ago about Marco Polo.
It's like...
But...
I have a friend, and she likes to do it, and I'm okay sending regular Marco Polos to her, but like she'll message me, and I'll write her, like video myself back to her, and I don't care that I look like shit or I'm laying in bed or whatever. Like, that's fine. But like, if you're like in a relationship or something like that, and you're long distance and you're doing Marco Polo, like, you probably want to make sure you look good.
And what the fuck is Marco Polo?
It's a walkie-talkie messaging
in
system.
A pool. You close your eyes. And then you yell out Marco, right? And then everybody else yells Polo, and you try to tag people, right?
I don't think you're using it in that context.
No, I'm not. Here, I'll show you.
Smart ass.
This is what it is.
It's also what they do in
Marco with Helen Keller. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what it is. Like, you open it up, and it's immediately like almost like a FaceTime type thing. And then, so these are the messages that you've had with that person. So they basically talk into it, record themselves doing something or saying something to you, send it, and then you can reply back. And the funny thing is that my friend on this that does the Marco Polos to me, she always looks so amazing in these Marco Polos, and I look like an old haggard witch. And I don't know if it's just the videos or the
That'll be more pathetic than that game of Marco Polo I played with Helen Keller. Marco.
Do you get it? Because she can't hear
Marco.
She's deaf.
Marco.
Did you just explain to me the Marco Polo Helen Keller joke?
Yeah, I did.
I thought I was the only one that does shit like that.
No, because you weren't laughing, so I was trying to be funnier by explaining it to you.
I've seen this episode multiple times.
Marco Polo, fish out of water.
Well, technically, he's not out of water. He has to be all the way out of water. That's okay. Anyway,
I'm glad that you checked in on the Marco Polo rules on Family Guy. Thank you, sir.
I just,
Thank you, sir. You got an ad, didn't you? So yeah, the Marco Polo app is another thing that you could use. And I know a lot of people in relationships use that to go back and forth. And I've heard people say, when I've talked to them about it, they're like, oh, I like it because I can actually see the person. I can hear their voice. Mm-hmm. I can do this. And all I can think of is like, I cannot think of a really convenient time to do that with somebody that I love.
Also, it kind of shows you can, be some of your suspicions can be knocked out because you can see where they're at.
Yeah. That would be the FaceTime. FaceTime me right now.
No.
I dated a guy that was like that. Well, I didn't really date him. Like, he was talking at me, and he kept trying to call me on FaceTime at random times. And I'm like laying in bed, drunk. I don't want to FaceTime with anybody in the dark. I was like, I text him back. I'll be like, it's dark. I'll be like, turn on a light. And be like, no.
No.
It seems like a terrible idea.
When in the time of Total Recall, when he was talking to people on the phone and you could see them when you're talking to them, I'm like, oh, this is amazing technology. When they finally start doing this, it's going to be awesome.
Or now you're like, fuck
and now it's here, I'm
that.
like, yeah, now I'm like, no, fuck you. I don't want to Skype. I don't want to,
I don't want to do any of those things.
No, it's like, fuck off. Yeah.
You know what? You know what I do want to do? And you know what I think is a great choice instead? Text. Text is an amazing choice.
Text is
always
awesome.
Text me.
Yeah, texting is very convenient.
I even do that with people I work with. And I go, like, look, if you like to make phone calls, that's fine. But just know that I'm probably not going to answer it. And your quickest way is to text me.
So what it comes down to is you couldn't do long distance relationships any longer.
Not again.
No.
I mean,
no.
I know it's easy for me to say now, but I've been through it, and it's fucking hell. Especially when you love someone, and the emotional torment that there is of not being with them, especially if something's happening and you can't immediately get down to them to make sure everything's okay in person, it fucks with you. It fucks with you big time, and that's emotional anguish that I don't ever want to deal with ever again. I don't. So I don't recommend it unless, like you guys said, there's a game plan. I mean, there was pretty much a game plan with us, but still, I just fucking no. I don't ever want to do that shit. We were dating for about a year and a half, doing the long distance thing before we finally got married and moved in together. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Fuck that, man.
I am way too selfish and jealous too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to do. I didn't even remember that the fucking the tank ass in Tracy. I didn't want to even drive to Tracy for some ass. No, I'm good. I didn't want to have that.
That wasn't a long distance relationship. That was just going to Tracy to get some ass.
Yeah, but me,
you were literally not even you talked and then talked on the phone or whatever you guys did.
Yeah,
but you can't equate that to.
You really don't ever have to talk to her again. Even you could ghost her. You could
That's
be
not
the
even
ghosting.
a long distance fucking relationship.
Do the ghostness.
I mean, how long does it take to get to Tracy from Sacramento? An hour and a half?
Like an hour and a half.
I don't think it takes that long, but yeah. Well, it depends. Is it farther than Stockton? I can never remember.
Well, if she was more like a spank ass than a tank ass, then yeah, then it would have been worth it. But otherwise, no. I'm good.
She wasn't that hot. If it was hotter than that, he would have gone further.
She looked like I said, she looked like fucking Mimi, without as much makeup.
So what you're saying is he would have fucked Mimi if Mimi was 30 miles away.
Yeah.
I think that's really what we're getting down to here. Just FYI. That's where we're headed.
Look, I'm not as picky as Mike is, but I do have certain, lines.
Well, I did yell at you to up your standards.
Fucking A, you did.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No. Yeah, there's
as long as you're still shopping at your own store.
There was the context of me saying that was he was he was still doing the online dating thing.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, she's hot," and I looked at him and I went, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Desperate times, man.
And I'm like,
Desperate times.
I'm like, it's okay to have standards, Joe.
Look,
have
when you're someone that never gets laid, your outlook on things is different. So you see more attractiveness in people.
In fact, you don't even really have to look
Dude,
at the face.
I literally
you just
haven't
have to
been
notice
laid
if
in 5 years.
They just
My
have to
outlook
spread
isn't
their
any
legs.
different.
If they spread their legs, I think it's good. See, you're the exception. I think most dudes would probably just take about anything at that point.
Yeah, I need to have an actual emotional connection with somebody.
$20? Yes, I will pay you $20 behind this car.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I
why.
will.
That's why I only did the escort thing once, is because I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted to because I wasn't emotionally invested.
Yeah, I need to be emotionally invested in a person to move further into the whatever.
Yeah, I enjoy face fucking.
I
mean, I'm sorry, staring face to face while fucking. My bad.
Yeah, face fucking is a little bit different. just so you know.
I know.
I think it has something to do with like boning on somebody's face, essentially.
Boning.
Bone my girlfriend out.
You just need to get that sound bite.
I was about to bone my girlfriend.
Good God. All right.
All right.
So that was a good boning right there.
That was a good boning.
Friend out at the lake, but suddenly she yelled, so I looked up and it was Bigfoot.
So what happened next?
Then I went back to bone her, but the mosquitoes were going crazy and
she said no.
She said no.
Mosquitoes were.
I keep waiting for him to say he was boning Bigfoot.
What happened next?
Then I went back to bone her.
There we go.
Then I went back.
What the fuck?
What are you doing, Michael?
I was testing it to make sure that I got it right. Then I went back to bone her, but she said no.
She said no.
So what's up with the 4 pinks and 1 dark?
Oh, it's a thing.
What is this a statement?
Yeah, it's like it's the thing now where everybody does different colored nails. So I did that, and then I had designs on my fingernails.
Well, in my personal opinion, you nailed it.
All right.
All right, so are we good for this one?
Yeah, I think we're good for this one.
All right, so fuck off long-distance relationships.
Yeah,
Fuck you, San Diego.
All right, and cocktails out.